Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're going to be doing a Draven updated complete guide. But before we really jump into it, don't forget of course to check out Draven's basic guide for his skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos, and I will chuck it into the cards above for your easy reference. But without further ado, let's jump straight into discussing his build. Now there's quite a number of variation in Draven build, and I'm going to try my best to explain it. There's also a thunderstorm going on in the background, so hopefully you guys can't really hear that and you can hear me clearly. But let's, get into it. So basically you can see I've named one fed and one behind. So paying attention to not the runes and not the spells, but only to the actual items. Basically, I'm going to run you guys down what you want to go for if you're fed or if you're behind. So for the items, you want to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves first for the Omni Vamp, as well as the early AD. Then you want to go for Bloodthirster first item, because Draven scales amazing with AD, and this is the item that is going to give you the most AD out of any item you can get in the game. Also the Physical Vamp, amazing for Draven's dueling, so it's a lovely first item. And then if you're fed, you want to actually go for the Collector to snowball your lead even further, because Collector is a very strong early game item. Yes, you're not getting it first item because honestly the pure AD and the lifesteal, or not lifesteal, but physical vamp from the Bloodthirster is just way more important than the lethality, from the Collector. But you get it second item to continue to snowball your lead. Now third item, you get IE for more AD and of course the extra crit damage. No, not complicated there. Mole Reminder, Armor Pen as well as Grievous Wounds. Again, not complicated there. And last item is normally a defensive option. Maw is generally the best as if you're playing into any kind of AP damage or any kind of fed AP person on the enemy team. Otherwise, of course, other defensive options like Sterix Gauge, GA, etc. can work as well. So now, if you're behind, the build changes slightly. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still go for this build if you're ahead. But if you're even, meaning like 0-0-0, or you are behind, then you probably want to go for this build, which basically is just skipping the Collector. Because to me, basically, the Collector is just an item that you only really want to go for if you're ahead and you have a lot of extra gold. If you don't have that extra gold, you probably don't want to go for the Collector. And again, as I said, if you guys prefer this build, you can go for this build even when you are ahead, because this build is also amazing when you're ahead. Getting the extra range from getting Magnetic Blaster is also going to be very, very good. So you want to go for the Gluttonous Greaves. Again, same story, Bloodthirster, same story. So by the time you complete Bloodthirster is where you want to decide whether you want to go for the ahead build or the behind build, as I like to call it. Even with the behind, quote-unquote behind build, going for IE second item is still a huge power spike. It's just that it's more expensive than Collector, and in the long run, Collector probably allows you to snowball a lot more. And then, of course, Magnetic Blaster, additional range and additional attack speed. And, Mole Reminder and defensive item stays the same. So now let's talk about the runes. So again, with the runes you have two options, and really to me this is a little bit of personal preference. So I personally prefer Lethal Tempo. I've actually always liked Lethal Tempo on Draven. The thing about Lethal Tempo is if you get into long fights in lane, it's amazing, but it's not really good in short fights. It's also very, very good in team fights because you obviously stack up the range, you stack up the attack speed. It's just going to be an amazing item. However, of course, the caveat to that is you have a weaker early game. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you go for Press the Attack, within 3 attacks, or Empowerment as it's called in Wild Rift, within 3 attacks, you're going to deal that bonus extra damage, you're going to make them more vulnerable, makes it easier to run them down, and makes it easier for you to kill them in lane, which makes it easier to cash in and snowball the game off of that. So really, as I said, it's a little bit about personal preference. It's really okay to go for either Lethal Tempo for the long fights slash the mid-late game team fights, or it's also okay to go for Empowerment just purely to all in lane. And it's not even that bad in the later fights as well, because you're still going to proc it onto one person and kill that guy, whoever it is you proc it on. And for the rest of the runes, Brutal, you're going to go for this all the time, obviously because you auto-attack a lot, and getting the extra damage is very useful. Now, again, this is a philosophy thing where Giant Slayer is really good against tanks and health builders, but Coup de Grace, is really good against people below 40% health. And with Draven, you want to go for cash-ins, and getting extra damage to people who are low is going to come in very, very handy. So again, this is kind of which one you prefer kind of deal. In this match, I actually went for Lethal Tempo, which is my personal preference, and Coup de Grace, just for that extra laning power. And then Alacrity for the extra attack speed in the long run. Bone Plating for the extra defensive stats, especially important in lane. And then of course flash together with exhaust. Exhaust is pretty much essential. You don't want to go for ghost or ignite or anything like that, because exhaust is just really important to win those early game fights, and even in the later part of the game when assassins jump onto you, really important to exhaust them, and play the game that way. But with all that said, now let's move on to our gameplay. Alrighty, so now we're moving on to the gameplay itself. Now, of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will, of course, be sure to address them. So first thing I want to say is that my mic literally died between me recording the loadout section of the video and now me recording the gameplay section of the video. So I'm literally using my laptop's inbuilt mic for this recording, so hopefully the quality will not be too bad. Of course, going to order a new mic online and get it as soon as possible. So first things first, what we can see is we have an Ashe support. I say support quote unquote because you can see she doesn't even have support items. She has a longsword. So however, despite the fact that she refuses to buy support item and she's basically stealing our gold and XP, she is letting us last hit and she does give us the kill. So I'm not going to complain about it too much. But what I am going to complain about is the fact that she basically goes AFK multiple times during the game, and we are kind of left high and dry. So normally Draven wants to play with an aggressive engaged support, but in this case, Ashe actually works really well with Draven. Firstly, the enemy team you can see is playing super aggressive onto the Ashe, running her down. I'm fine with that because I can basically get a kill onto MF, I can get a cash in. It's a trade I take any day of the week. Now I'm not sure if I should have actually focused Pyke down first, because Pyke was actually really low. I might have been able to kill Pyke and then MF, but I think that's a little bit too greedy. Now here I'm actually getting run down by the Yone here who has ignited me. I actually thought I would be fine, so I actually didn't flash, but turns out Yone does a lot more damage than what I expected, so I end up just dying like an idiot with my flash up. So yeah, lesson learned, Yone does a lot more damage than what I thought. So yeah, that's a lesson for the future. But yeah, Ashe actually works really well with Draven, because Ashe actually works as an aggressive support. Because Ashe, when she gets an auto attack in, she's able to slow down the enemies as she gets hooked here again by the Pyke, but I'm able to chase him away just because he can't, walk near me, if not he's gonna die as well. She works very well as Draven support because the moment she gets one auto onto someone and slows them down, Draven can actually just run them down, which is actually going to be very, very helpful. Somehow Ashe manages to get hooked again from behind me, but thankfully MF is nowhere near to actually follow up. And Pyke is not able to finish the kill by himself. Ashe now has to back, which of course leaves us time to get solo gold and XP and not have her leech it off of us. But yeah, so far so good. Is a pretty good start to the game, and as I said, depending on whether you're ahead or even / behind, you can obviously change up what kind of build you want to go. So of course, again, it's really up to you what kind of build you want to go for Draven. Generally, as long as you're building a high AD items, generally it's going to work pretty well on Draven. Here Ashe again eats another hook. However, here Pyke makes a big mistake, which is he dashes to stun Ashe, but MF is in no position to follow up, which basically allows me to attack him. You can see that I at first ignored the Pyke engaging, but the moment I saw him dash is when I turned on him and started to kill him, because the moment that Pyke dashes, that's when he has no way to escape, other than of course like flashing away or trying to swim away. But aside from that, he doesn't really have any easy way to escape, right? Because that's his main mobility, that's his dash down. And that means that it's time for us to go in onto him. And that's exactly what we do when we're able to, of course, get the kill on him. Meanwhile, our Ashe picks up her boots, gets the attack speed boots, and she also has Electrocute, which is a really weird rune to take on Ashe, to say the least. But yeah, so here I'm trying to snipe the 1 HP Yone under the tower. I actually hit him, but he doesn't die, and on the return, obviously he dodges it, so unfortunately we're not able to finish the kill on him. So here we're kind of pushing in, and we're trying to crash the wave so that we can get it to bounce back out, because it's a really difficult position to really do anything from here. Here MF has to actually ult the wave to clear it, but I'm able to get one plate, but I do have to tank a tower shot for it, which is a deal I would take. Pyke has roamed to mid, so we are actually pretty safe in the bot lane. And by the way, guys, my ping finally has gotten fixed. And by ping, I mean the communication ping, not the latency kind of ping. But my pings have finally gotten fixed, so I can finally ping like enemy missing and things like that. So here my Ashe is randomly recalling, so I can't really play too aggressive because I don't have my support with me, so I'm going to have to back off a little bit. Enemy Pyke is backing as well. I don't necessarily want to stop him because I just want to shove in this wave, and it'll be easier without Pyke here than if he is actually here, so I'm just going to quickly shove it in. And then I can actually get a reset. Here I especially spot Echo. I wanted to go for the toolkit, but Echo is here, so I'm going to, I forgot what it's called, stand aside him away, and he ults back onto me, which does surprisingly little amounts of damage. Normally, Echo ult does a lot more damage than that, but I guess it's still early level, so he doesn't really have items yet. Doesn't have any AP, only has Sheen and Aether Wisp, which does give a little bit of AP, but not too much. Here he's trying to conduct a dive on me, and I'm actually using my ult to not only clear the wave, but at the same time, also to deal a bit of damage to MF and dissuade her from diving. I have absolutely no mana at this point, so I'm going to have to take a reset at this point. Pyke does come in pretty deep. Dragon is also up, but again, I can't really do anything much, simply because I don't have any mana. So I finally get back. I get enough to get Bloodthirster as the dragon fight is ensuing. Ashe has no interest in the dragon fight whatsoever. She just wants the goal from the wave. And the enemy team picks up the dragon. I'm trying to evaluate if I should go there. I'm looking at the fight and I'm deciding that, you know what, I don't think my team is winning this fight. Nah, you know, I'm out. And yeah, I'm pinging them to retreat, and I'm going, you know, back to the lane to try to pick up some farm. Now here is where MF gets underestimated a lot. If you look at the symbol right next to me, you can see MF passive has actually managed to fully stack on me, and that is a problem. So here MF gets caught under tower. Unfortunately, I don't have ult, so I'm not able to finish her off. Ashe decides that she just wants to finish her off and goes all the way in. Now Echo is chasing me down, has to ult back. Now thankfully here, MF gets baited by the toolkit and I run her down. Echo unfortunately also dies to the auto right there. I actually didn't think that auto would kill him, but it did. So sometimes you do get lucky, but most of the time you don't. You guys know how it is. And we get our 4th kill of the game off of that. And on top of that, we're going to get a plate as well, but Pyke is now back here to stop us. Honestly, if he hooks us there, we're completely fine. But here we're going to blood rush back to safety, and then we can reset and get some more items. So as you can see, in this game we are 4-1. So obviously I consider myself really fed. I'm going to build into the collector items, which is of course going to be the cloak as well as the dirk. And looking at my team, it's not good, right? We have Darius who just killed someone, but he has 2 deaths. You know, behind Akali, we have our jungler Jax, who's 0-2-0, who is really far behind Echo, and our mid laner is 0-3, also about 2k gold behind the Yone. So this is looking like a very horrible situation from where I'm standing, and yeah, I don't like it, which is probably explains why Echo managed to gank us a couple of times, because he's winning everywhere else other than my lane. But at the same time, when he ganked me, he basically donated a kill to me, so yeah, you know, that works out for me. So here we're just going to quickly clear the wave. I'm actually running away here because I saw Yone go out of vision in mid, I believe, so I was thinking that he's probably going to come down here and kill me, so I'm actually pinging my Ashe off the tower, but she doesn't listen. She actually gets the tower. Sorry, not Yone, I meant Akali. Said the wrong person. But yeah, I saw Akali roaming down here, and true enough, everyone comes down there to kill Ashe, which is, I mean, no one is going to be surprised by that. However, off of the tempo they lost, we're actually able to quickly run mid and pick up the mid lane tower, and then quickly run back away, because obviously they're going to rotate back over in the mid. And now I'm realizing, like, I'm checking the scoreboard, I'm realizing that, man, my team are all kind of at least 1k goal behind the enemy team in every single role other than me. And if you take a look at the goal here, you can see we're only 1k goal behind overall, which basically shows you that, you know, I'm 2k goal ahead of the MF, which of course offsets like 2 of my teammates' deficits. But of course we still have like 2 people at a deficit, so that's where, you know, all the goal difference really comes in. So realizing this, I realized that of course I'm the main carry in this game, which I know I say that in some of my videos. Sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. Depends on how the match goes. But in this particular match, I am the main carry, so the mindset kind of has to change a little bit, in my opinion, when you're the main carry, because you want to, of course, make game-winning plays, but at the same time, you don't want to play too recklessly, because if you die, basically, you know your team is not going to survive the ensuing fight, because you're the main damage, and you know you're dead, and then your team just basically is going to follow you to the grave, and it's generally just not going to work out. Here, a really interesting fight happens. Pyke and Jax are sort of going in. So with that mindset in mind, I don't want to just run straight in because I know Yone and Pyke are there, a lot of threats. Pyke and Yone use their stuff, and that's when I'm trying to go in. Echo is not onto me, so now I'm running away from Echo. I'm trying to make my way back here. I see an opportunity to kill MF, which I go in, I get a cash in, I kill MF. And then I'm back running away. Yone here, I'm trying to just kite around the fight. I actually walk back to pick up the axe, which causes me to dodge Pyke's hook by accident. And here I'm going all in on Yone, which I do manage to get the kill onto him, but I do end up dying after that. Honestly, the main difference was shield bow. The fact that Yone still had shield bow meant that I wasn't able to kill him fast enough, which basically saved his life. I think I needed 2 extra autos to eat through the shield bow there, so good shield bow pickup by Yone, I'll have to admit. Darius finally is able to jump in, pick up the kill on Echo, slow down the Pyke, get the full stacks, ult the Pyke, and kill him as well. So finally my team getting some work done. But yeah, so good pickup by Yone, and at least I was able to trade the kill before I died. Anyways, I already got on the cash in. At this point, I'm 10k gold, which is 3k gold up on the MF. Of course, having the Draven passive is very, very helpful when you're able to cash in the boatloads of stacks before you actually die. I was able to cash in each time before I die, so I'm kind of okay with that. Like here the fight is really precarious. I'm trying to make my way into the fight. Here I'm trying to chase down the Akali, who I think is probably the easiest target to kill. I say that, but she hops over the wall, but runs back into my Darius, and Darius picks up another kill. Now Darius is 5-3, and this is really great, right? If you're the main carry of the team, you want to be able to get other members of your team kills so that they can help carry you as well. You don't want to be like taking every single kill. I'm trying my best to help out my Darius here, but it's really not happening. I'm able to trade the kill onto Pyke. I'm trying my best here. I get the kill onto the Echo as well. So in the end, we make it a 2-for-2 trade. But again, I was able to pick up the cash-ins, which means that I'm growing my lead from myself and growing my lead over the MF. I'm nearly 4k gold ahead of the MF at this point. From all of the cash-ins, I have 3 full items. And I've been able to get my Darius kills as well. And now he's 1k gold ahead of the Akali instead of 1k gold behind, which is a huge swing. But of course, nothing changes with my Ashe. She just gets one shot, and she's still like a good 3k gold behind the Pyke, which of course it is a Pyke, so that is forgivable because Pyke gets a lot of extra gold from his passive. The ultimate, when he shares the gold with his team, so that is that's forgivable to some extent. So here we're gonna quickly pick up the red buff. My Diana is still kind of useless, and Jax still kind of useless, but the thing about Jax is that there's always opportunities where he scales into the game, and when you get to late game, like 3-4 items, Jax could actually get back into the game, and Diana could get back into the game enough to one-shot MF, for example. Like if Diana is just able to like one-shot MF, I think that's good enough. Like she's done her job more than well. Pyke nearly gets caught by myself as well as the Ashe ultimate at this point in time. And here is where the big mistake happens. So here I was trying to keep my axes spinning by attacking the Baron, but I end up baiting my team to start the Baron somehow, which I'm not sure why. Like, Ashe is randomly starting the Baron, Jax is pinging retreat, and I'm pinging retreat as well. I was just trying to keep my axes spinning, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade between the two supports, which I guess is alright. Again, I'm attacking Baron to keep my axes spinning. I'm running forward, trying to get into a position where I can DPS. I'm waiting for Yone to snap back. There we go, auto for a free kill. And now I'm trying to kite away. I exhaust Akali. I'm able to get a kill onto her. Sorry, I exhaust MF, I believe. And I actually pick up a quadra kill with my dying breath. Able to get the last hits onto the last 2 of them right before I died. And at this point, I've gotten so many cash-ins, and I've also gotten 12 kills. Up to a point that I'm actually like, 5k gold ahead of MF at this point, which is a monumental lead. And MF is not even doing badly. She's 5-5-9. So she's not even doing badly. Imagine if she was like my team's Diana. Right, I would be like what, 7k gold ahead of her. I would have double her gold or something like that. But yeah, MF isn't even doing bad. And again, this is now a 2-man show. Now it's me and Darius against the world. Right, Darius is the only other person on my team that is actually fed. Like, I'm Giga fed. I have 14k gold. Darius is 10k gold. Akali and Yone on the enemy team are the 2 most fed members at 10k gold as well. So I'm like Giga fed just because I'm Draven and I have Draven passive, which allows me to really, really get fed. But on a normal standard is where Darius and the rest of them are. So, it's me and Darius versus the world. Darius can, of course, tank for me a little bit. He can also go in and get some kills himself if he's able to stack up. Unfortunately, at the current moment, he's getting caught out. I'm trying to help him. I have no idea how that Yone hit me. Even watching the replay twice, I still don't know how that Yone hit me. But anyways, Akali actually gets baited and she just dies to my team, which is kind of like a, I guess that works out in the end kind of moment, because if I didn't get hit by that, Akali wouldn't have just suicided to kill me. Now me and Darius are coming back to base to stop the Echo. Don't think we needed 2 people though, and I really needed to recall anyways. Being careful to step away from Echo's clone, because he can always ult back whenever he wants to. Carefully coming over to check if Echo is anywhere nearby. He is not. I'm just going to farm the Gromp. And here, Jax is pinging to do the Baron. Now, on one hand, you know, Pyke is dead and Akali is dead. I'm using the plant to kind of check for vision. But I think this is really, really risky. Like, I don't like this at all. My Jax is run out of mana. We're trying to focus on the Baron. I do it really quickly, but I'm just afraid Echo would actually steal it. Ocean Drake is up, which is not really relevant considering we're doing the Baron right now. Echo is trying to go in, gets hooked away by Darius, but Yone just gets it instead, because obviously Jax, yeah, he can't smite. And here I'm trying to salvage the situation. I get a kill onto Echo. I'm trying to get some other damage down, but I can't really, and Darius goes down as well. So basically what ends up happening is my Diana and Ashe decides to ignore the Baron fight altogether and go for the Dragon. Now, this really, really pisses me off, because this is not the only time you're going to see this. This happens a lot of the time. I'm sure it happened to you as well. But basically, people have an obsession over a dragon. Like in this case, it's third dragon, and each team has 1 dragon. There's no soul whatsoever. It's like a, ocean dragon, I think? Like, that doesn't even matter at all in the grand scheme of the game. And what do we do instead? We give them the Baron, everybody dies, and now they're literally killing our inhibitor using the Baron that was meant to be ours. So, that's really horrible. And the Pyke is even trying to end the game using the Baron, which, yeah. So here I'm attacking the Baron just because it's alone. So I'm just DPSing the Baron because, you know, I have my lethal tempo fully stacked up. I just, you know, kill the Baron. I know Pyke is going to dash out, so I'm actually running past the Baron. And I actually was thinking like it's a free kill on him, but I end up basically just getting baited in. I do get the kill, which gives me the cash in, not the shutdown, the cash in. But that was not worth it, of course. Like, you know, your most fed member, like by a mile for the enemy support, yeah, that's not a good deal whatsoever. That was my bad. I didn't think there would be so many people behind him, but of course we didn't have vision, so I should not have done that. So yeah, so unfortunately now we're gonna have to deal with the Baron minions, because even after the TX dies, whatever waves got the Baron buff when it was alive still remains with the Baron buff. Intense 1v1 with the Diana and the Akali with a 3k gold difference between them. I think I know who my money is on this one. Jax, however, trying to catch out the Akali from the top, waiting patiently in the bush for Akali to do something. Akali walks straight into Jax, gets ulted, jumps back to the minion, and gets killed by Diana instead. Chooses to give the shutdown to the Diana. Wise choice in my opinion. I will rather give it to Diana than Jax. Here Echo gets caught, and I try to one-shot him, but unfortunately he pops the stasis, he pops the ulti, and he takes an extra second to die. I also didn't manage to get my spinning axe because I got CC'd by Yone. So I'm trying to make my way back to the fight, but yeah, I'm not going to make it. So I basically give up and I'm going to clear the minion instead. And now I'm trying to make it back to the fight again. And Elder is spawning in like 13 seconds, so this is getting really, really iffy. And I'm pinging for Elder because Akali is dead, Echo is dead. It's prime time, you know, to get Elder. So I'm pinging for Elder. We gotta get this one. Yone and MF are alive, but it's going to be very hard for them to walk in because I'm alive, and if they just walk in, you know, without thinking, I'm going to be able to kill them. Pyke is here as well. I think Yone is thinking about it. Here he comes. Me and Darius are chasing him away, and he is able to snap back. MF, though, I don't know how she got there, but she is not able to snap back, so she's just going to get one shot. There she goes. And here at this point, I have enough for Maw. And Maw is actually really important because it counters Echo, Akali, and Yone to a certain extent, because Yone does magic damage as well. So now we're at full build at this point. And here is where we want to, hopefully, use the Elder to get the Baron. And with the Baron, get the win. That's ideal, but, you know, you don't know if that's actually going to happen. So here, just pushing out the mid wave, pinging for Baron. Darius actually gets a kill on Echo, and Ashe gets picked up by Yone. That's a good trade in the grand scheme of things, because Echo is their jungler who's really important, and Ashe is 0 and 11 and AFK for a lot of the time anyways. Yone ults in. I dodge the ulti, and I'm able to one-shot him with the Elder. Even so, he wasn't really even close to killing anybody there, interestingly enough, despite how ahead he was. Now, I want someone to take the Elder, so I'm here trying to just clear the wave. Darius cancels the recall to apparently help me out, which I didn't really need. I just need someone to pick up the Elder. Not Elder, the Baron, sorry. There goes the Jax into the Baron. Now I just gotta wait a little bit. I don't need to back because I'm full build. I just need to basically lifesteal off of the minions, like so, and get back all my health basically. Kali tries to engage, it doesn't really work. Pyke gets the hook onto Darius, and I know they're gonna go for him. I get a really good ult onto two people, which procs Elder onto both and kills both people, finishing off the tower here. Now I'm really fed because I'm literally full build. Echo nearly one-shots me. If I didn't have Maw there, I would have just gotten one-shot by him. So thankfully I had the Maw up, and not up. It doesn't have to be up anymore, but I had the Maw in my inventory. And I'm able to survive the Echo, which allows me to then kill the Yone as well. Being very careful here to just lifesteal off of the minions, get back to basically full health. And now we just gotta focus the base. MF tries her best, ults the wave, but TX and Ashe is able to tank the Nexus, and we're able to pick up the victory. So all that said, I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.